The Miami Heat season is in free fall, and their recent blowout loss to the Atlanta Hawks is a stark reminder of how far this team has slipped. This offense is playing terrible basketball right now, and this wasn't just any game. Like, it was a complete offensive implosion. The Heat scored 86 points. This is the third time in the last 2 weeks the Miami Heat have scored below 90 points. They've scored 86 points twice and 85 points three times in the last few weeks. And what's even worse is this Atlanta Hawks game. This was their first game this season with less than 90 points on defense. They've been allowing opponents to score 100 plus points every game this season, basically. And they're a terrible defense, and the Miami Heat could not score on a terrible defense. Terry Rozier was a DNP. He didn't even play, so we can't use that complete excuse that it's Terry Rozier starting the fourth quarter with Tyler Hero and Bam resting and blowing leads. We can't even use that excuse right now. So this was just one of the most frustrating, annoying losses of the season. And when you think it can't get any worse, it does for this Miami Heat team. And what also is worse, Eric Spoelstra keeps reassuring that the team is closer than it feels, but that doesn't seem to match the reality on the court. Wide open shots are being squandered, and basic passes are turning into costly errors. We're not protecting the ball, especially last night against the Hawks, and we're not making open shots. We're not finishing at the rim. We're shooting like shit from the three-point line, and it's just not fun to watch, but it's understandable because we just lost our best player. Jimmy Butler is no longer on the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat are now 1-6 since we've lost Jimmy Butler to the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors are 5-1. We have no one that can control and play in our half court sets. We have no one that can really get to the free throw line. There's no one that is clutch enough and consistent enough like Jimmy Butler was for this team. So that is one issue. There is a talent issue on this team. Yes, we do have Bam and Tyler, who are our two best players, and Tyler is playing amazing, but is simply not enough. And it's also the cast of characters that are around them are not good enough. And Eric Spoelstra's coaching this season is not good enough. And if he was on any other organization in any other circumstances, would be on the hot seat for blowing a league-leading 14-point second half losses, basically. So 14 of our losses have come when we were up by double digits in the second half, and 8 of those were in the fourth quarter. So it wasn't just third quarter, double digit leads that we lost. Like, that's still hard to maintain, but most of those are in the fourth quarter. And we complained all season and last season and the season before that about third quarters, and we did have some third quarters this season, but now it's about the fourth quarter, and we're not able to finish and close. We're not clutch. We're not consistent. We don't have the talent to help us win games. Bam and Tyler are fine. They're great, but they're not contributing to winning, and it's not their fault because they have to overcome playing with a bad cast of characters around them and a coach who is coming up with not terrible, but still pretty bad rotations and substitution patterns, and not calling challenges when he should, not calling timeouts to stop the bleeding when other teams are going on these runs, like keeping players out for too long for rest. Like, he's been pretty bad this season so far, and it's just tough. It's just been a tough season. I'm a diehard Miami Heat fan. I'm going to watch every single game no matter what. Obviously, I cover this team, but it's not a fun product right now. The Heat are now 9th. The Hawks leapfrogged the Heat last night, so they are now the 8th seed. The Heat are 26-30, 4 games below 500. That's the worst mark of the season for them. They have not gone 3 games or they have not gone past 3 games below 500. Anytime they do, they typically win 3 in a row, get back to 500. But right now, they're 4 games below 500, and they're free falling, like I mentioned earlier. They're just continuing to lose, and for some Heat fans, that's a good thing. If we lose and if we don't make the playoffs, we get our pick back from the OKC Thunder. So we owe the Thunder a pick this season. It's lottery protected. So if we don't make the playoffs, we get that pick, which will probably be, based on odds right now, the 11th pick based on our record if the season ended today. So that's good. We'll have 2 picks because the Warriors owe us another pick. Theirs is top 10 protected, but with Jimmy Butler, like I mentioned, they're 5-1. They're 3 games above 500. They are moving in the right direction. We're moving in the wrong direction. The Warriors are 9th now. They were 11th when they acquired Jimmy Butler. So we would get 2 first-round picks, which is great. The Warriors pick would probably be around 14 or 15. So 2 picks. One might be out of the lottery, but both might be within the lottery. And that could be huge for the Miami Heat. So fans are asking this Miami Heat to tank. They want Bam Adebayo to sit. They want Tyler to sit. They want us to lose on purpose. That's not part of the Heat's culture and identity. You can say in the comments there is no Heat culture, but yes, they are still a world-class organization. Look at the Portland Trailblazers. Look at the Wizards. Look at the Utah Jazz. Look at these teams that have never won a championship, that could barely sniff the playoffs. Like, do you want to go on a drought, honestly? Do you want this team to be that bad where we have 16 seasons in a row where we don't make the playoffs, just like the Kings recently? They recently broke a 16-year streak of not making the playoffs. So some people say, like, why do you want to make the first round just to get blown out? Because it's still better to be in the dance, to be in the tournament, to play in the playoffs sometimes versus not, especially when you haven't been there in a while. And I don't think that's going to happen with the Miami Heat. Like, they haven't gone on like droughts that big where it was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years before they made the playoffs again. So I'm not too worried about that. But I'd rather have these players get a taste of what it's like to play in the postseason when the real season starts. Those 16 games that you have to win are the real games. That's where legacies are made. That's where legends are built. And it's not just about the regular season. No one cares about the regular season. Players don't even care. They load manage now. So it's all about the playoffs. So I want playoff experience for these young players who are going to be a part of our future. And we need to assess who the hell is going to be a part of our future or not. Because right now, we stink. We can get 2 first-round picks. But here's the dilemma as well. If we get our pick back from the Thunder, we owe them a future pick, which would be next year. We also owe the Hornets a pick for the Terry Rozier trade. And so those 2 picks right now are lottery protected. If we don't make the playoffs this season, the reward is we get 2 picks. That's great. Some fans say tank for that. But then those other picks are not lottery protected, meaning if Bam or Tyler gets a season-ending injury or Wiggins next season, this Miami Heat team is already horrible and bad. Imagine them without Bam or a Tyler or a Wiggins for the whole season. Then we're not going to be the 9th seed in the East. No. We're going to be the 13th seed, the 14th seed. We're going to be playing and competing against the Hornets and the Wizards for being one of the worst teams in the East. And guess what that means? That means the Thunder next season, if this happens, can potentially get a top 5 pick or top 3 pick or the first overall pick. So I don't know if I trust this Miami Heat team to be good next year. So is it worth it for that 1 extra pick to potentially lose a top 3 or 5 pick in a future draft where the Miami Heat have not had a top 2008 or whatever it was when we got Michael Beasley? So I'm worried about that. And again, we're running it back next year with the same team. Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero are cornerstones. Andrew Wiggins is under contract until 2026. So Bam next year this is his last year of his first extension, making $37 million. Tyler's making $31 million. Wiggins will make $28 million. Terry Rozier is coming back, but he has a expiring contract, which is good. So hopefully we could trade him during the season. But he's coming back for $26 million. Duncan Robinson is $19 million. Only 9 million is guaranteed. So he's coming back. Kyle Anderson has 2 more years after this season. Davion Mitchell, that is someone we need to re-sign. Haywood Highsmith has another year. Khalil Ware is obviously going to be with us for the next 5. Kevin Love has another year in 2025. Jaime Jaquez obviously is under contract till 2027. Alec Burks isn't expiring this year. So is Davion Mitchell. They're the only two. Nico then obviously is under contract for 2 more seasons. We are bringing back this exact same team. So you want to tank this season? We're going to suck. We're going to suck next year. But the implication of us sucking next year is we don't get our lottery pick. It's not protected. So I don't trust this team. And again, we haven't really dealt with major injuries. We probably will next year. This Heat team has been plagued by it. We've been lucky in that sense. But even with our health, we haven't been good. Obviously, Jimmy Butler not playing half the season and now not being on the team is a big factor, obviously. But this Miami Heat team, again, let's go back to their offense. Their offense sucks. They're 22nd in offensive rating this season. They are 25th in points per game, averaging 109. They have had 86, and 85 in 3 games in the last week or so, 2 weeks. It doesn't even feel like they can get to their 109 average. And against good teams, they're terrible. The Miami Heat right now are 8-20 against teams that are above 500. The last time we beat a team above 500, guess who it was? Guess when it was, which is pathetic. The Golden State Warriors. I was at that game. It was in Golden State. I was with my friend, had a great time, and the Miami Heat beat the Warriors. It was January 7th. It was the last time we beat a team above 500. It's almost March. That is unacceptable. The Heat only beat crappy teams, but they still lose to crappy teams. We've lost to the Jazz. We've lost to the Trailblazers. We've lost to the Raptors. We cannot beat even the bad teams that often. We are 17-9 against teams below 500. So yes, we could beat them, but it's 8 games above 500. That's not good enough. We had to have beaten the Blazers, the Jazz, the Raptors, the Bulls beat us multiple times. Like literally, easily, we could have had 3 or 4 more victories against those below 500 teams. The Hawks have beat us twice now. Also, like this Heat team could be in the 6th seed, honestly, if they just took care of business, even against the shitty teams. So we can't beat the shitty teams enough, and we can definitely not beat any good team above 500. So it sucks. It is what it is. We have to go through the growing pains. Eric Spoelstra needs to figure this shit out. And like, I get his optimism. He's not going to come out and say, "Hey, we suck." Like, obviously, he can't say that. He's got to say, the intentions are right. We're getting close. But anytime we make a breakthrough, we take 3 steps back. It's just a theme. It's a pattern. We can't get more than 3 games above 500. And right now, at this point, I just would be happy to be at 500. So another quick stat Anthony Chang put out there. So with last night's game, to talk about how historically bad this offense is, at 88.7 points scored per 100 possessions last night, the Heat recorded its worst single game regular season offensive rating since scoring 86.7 points per 100 possessions in a 95-78 loss to the Celtics on November 4th, 2021. So this offense is becoming historically bad. Can't blame it just on Terry. Like, Jovic is out now, so we're going to be stuck with slow-mo. Maybe Jaquez will get some more run. But again, they're not three-point shooters. We need three-point shooting to stay in these games because we can't finish at the rim. Like, our two-point shooting is bad. That's like even worse, is we can't finish in the paint, can't finish at the rim, and it's going to be rough. The Miami Heat also just last night, they were 5 for 35 on wide open threes. So that's a bigger issue. So that's not on Spo. You can't talk crap on Spo on that. That's just execution. That's players. That's talent. So it's a combination. It's the worst recipe of having bad coaching this year and obviously bad players. So I don't know. I'm really upset. It's not fun watching the Miami Heat, but I'm going to continue to watch and support this team. But this offense is bad. We need to figure this out. We need to figure out who are we going to keep moving forward. Like, what players do we want to build around? So I don't know. I think the last thing on Spo, He needs to give the young guys time. We are such a mediocre team right now that I don't see a reason why we're playing Kyle Anderson, honestly. I don't see a reason why we're playing Alec Burks. I don't see a reason why we're playing Terry Rozier. We should literally play Pella Larson. See what we can get from him. He is a energetic, tenacious defender who can hit the three, who can get to the rim. He's young. He's a rookie. He's a second round draft pick. Like, obviously, he's going to be inconsistent, but give him some time. Like, see what you got. See if you got a diamond in the rough. Give Kashad Johnson opportunity. He's on a standard contract. He's not played in God knows when. Like, let's develop him as our next Haywood Highsmith 3-and-D type guy who's serviceable. Josh Christopher, give him some time. Like, we can't shoot for shit. Like, we have, like, Duncan's been playing like crap also. Like, why is Duncan getting 25 minutes? Give Josh like 10 minutes. Like, see what he can do. Isaiah Stevens, we need a floor general. Like, we don't have Nico, who is our backup power forward, point forward. And, we have Davion now, and that's all we have really because Terry's unplayable. Drew Smith is injured. Give Isaiah Stevens a chance to show what this Miami Heat desperately needs, which is a floor general. Like, give him some time with Kalel. They had a lot of chemistry in the summer league. Like, I don't know, man. Just figure it out, Spo. Give some guys some time. And that's a way of soft tanking. Give those guys an opportunity over the guys who suck and are struggling, like Terry and Burks and whoever else. So that's all I have for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.